aspects, and what I'd really like to spend the rest of the time talking about this morning is just telling you about the cultural sides of our organization. And in my opinion, and if you had asked me when I started the company, and you asked me 18 years later, I might have had a different answer of what I think the secret of success for the organization might be. But I do believe the culture of our organization is the secret sauce for how our company has been able to do well and succeed. And you may have all heard the saying in business, especially at times when liquidity is in a business is being focused on or important, that cash is king, and I would argue that culture is king also. And that as leaders, we need to look for opportunities to make sure that we emphasize that as much. Whenever we interview leaders to join our team, the first assessment of their candidacy, like any normal way you would approach it, is just do they have the basic skills to do the job that we're going to ask them to do? Have they done that? Do they have experience doing that? Do they have the educational background or the certification that might be necessary to do the job? That's really just table stakes. That's entry point of just being considered, where we really try to spend a lot of time. And I've really seen the benefit of focusing on this in the last probably 5 to 8 years as my role has changed in the organization, is really focusing on making sure that the cultural fit is there. And I can't stress that enough about what I think our roles as leaders is making sure that we're trying to be intentional about that. It can be hard to do, and quite honestly, I think the best way to do it is you just got to spend a lot of time with the candidates that you're considering. Just recognize the importance of their impact to the organization. And if it's wrong, it's painful. It affects a lot of people. It's painful to get make those changes. But if it's right, you really can leverage the value that they bring to the organization. So one of the things, simple ways I tell it when I talk to candidates is at James Avery, we care a lot about how we do the work that we do. It really is about, again, how we choose to work with one another. So here's my plug for Alan Austin, one of the sponsors of the breakfast this morning. Many of you may have seen us if you're familiar with some of the great work that Rob and his team have done. This is Alan Austin's 9 principles for a culture of peak performance. And I'm not going to go into all of these. Rob and I were visiting about this, and he said, John, think of it as like a checklist. It's a framework, one that can be used to assess or take inventory of what is or what may not be working well within your organization. And while I'm certainly biased and very insulated because I've been with the company for 18 years, I actually think at James Avery we do a pretty good job on pretty much all of these 9 principles. There's always room for improvement, and I don't want to be blind to that. But I put 3 smiley faces next to the 3 of the principles that really resonated with me when I thought about these and looked at these, and I think align nicely with James Avery. So I'm going to first talk about purpose. And these are the words of James Avery, our founder. He said, this company exists as a statement of belief that life is good, has purpose, and fulfillment. It exists that it might help others, to fill a need, to find meaning in life, to offer to others its personal expressions of the goodness of life, and to provide continuing opportunities to others to work in dignity that they may find their lives enriched and worthwhile. It's a great, great statement of purpose. And I love the fact that he used and said the words enrich lives and help others. So I thought about this and I said, what do I think this means? And I think it means, for us, it means we make more than just jewelry. Jewelry is what we sell, but really, what are we doing? And I think what we try to do is try to make a difference in people's lives. And for our customers, this means designing and crafting quality pieces that are worthy of their personal memory, stories, and faith. And we hope that every ring, bracelet, necklace, and charm that we choose, that they choose, makes them smile when they see it, helps them remember a special moment, or simply expresses their own personality. For our associates, it means offering them more than just a place to make a living. It means providing them a working environment that empowers them to do the inspiring things that they do every day. And it's the reason I think a lot of our associates call James Avery home for decades at a time. Our co-workers are our friends, and in many cases, family in the truest sense of the word. We have a lot of multi-generational associates within our employee base. And for the communities where we live, it means giving and sharing, whether it's donating financially, volunteering, or simply being a good steward. The goal is to help our neighbors and to always strive to do the right thing. A few years ago, we were working on a project with an outside branding agency. And during that project, we did some work where we reached out to some of our customers and we were interested in them describing the brand. James Avery, what does the brand mean to them? How would they describe the brand? And you see a word cloud here of some of the responses, and the larger the word, it means the more frequently it was mentioned. And for me, it warms my heart that words like caring and service and artistic and creative were mentioned. And I know that Mr. Avery would be proud, and the rest of the associates, the family would also be proud. And as part of that same project, we also asked our internal associates, how would you describe the company? How would you describe the brand? And certainly one of the goals that we hoped would happen, or one of the things we were looking for, is that there would be alignment between how the customers might describe you and how your associate family might describe you. And there was a lot of common ways that they were described. I love that caring is one of the words that jumps out in both the ways the customers were doing that, we're describing the brand and the company, and also our associates. And I've often heard people internally describe the company as caring. And I think Mr. Avery was very caring. So this is the kind of stuff that Rob loves, right? Core values. And it's really, really important. And if you asked me when I was 28, I don't know if I would have said it's really important, but I am a believer. And I do think it's important, and I think in my role, being the keeper of the core values and trying to beat that drum is an important thing for me in my role. So in 2018, approximately 64 years after we had been in business, we thought it might be important to go ahead and codify some of our core values. At the time, Chris was starting to think about the details of his transition out of the CEO role. And so, as the founder or the son of the founder-led organization, we thought it would be good to go ahead and codify these. So the core values that we codified were commitment, which we describe as the persistence in the achievement of goals, even in spite of barriers and difficulties. Creativity, which is originality and the ability to generate ideas and innovative solutions. Quality, excellence in everything we do. Graciousness, and I love this one, fostering a person-focused environment. Teamwork, working together across departments and on every level of the company to accomplish the goals and objectives. Support, helping our teammates through cooperation and communication to be the best that they can be. And at the center of this, the most important core value is integrity, doing it all with integrity. To me, this work was really, really helpful on a couple of fronts. First, it gave us a way to express what we felt made us unique, and also really be clear about what our expectations were. I think you have to be clear about, to be part of this family of associates, what are our expectations? And if you're aligned with this, it's going to be wonderful. It's going to be a great relationship. And if you're misaligned, it's probably not going to be a great relationship. I think it's important to have that. The other thing that we were able to do from it is we started incorporating it into our hiring process. We started looking for ways that we could have candidates describe how they might have examples in their work history where they exhibited some of this behavior. And we also started incorporating it into our annual review process for associates. It's not, there's two components to the review, and this is just one of it, but how we work together is important because we really see the benefits of that. So thinking about enriching lives, Mr. Avery again wanted to provide opportunities to the associates and craftspeople that were part of our team. If you think about what I said at the beginning of our presentation, he wanted to do something that he loved, he wanted to work with his hands, and he wanted to provide for his family. And I think it's great that in many small and medium-sized, mostly rural communities within Texas, where we craft jewelry, we can offer artisans that same opportunity to work with their hands and provide for their families. So currently we have about 1,000 associate artisans making jewelry. You don't have to have any experience being a jeweler. We will train you how to make jewelry. And as people acquire more skills, they can advance further. We offer 401k, health benefits, wellness benefits. And what was unique, I thought, at all levels of the organization was the profit sharing bonus. Mr. Avery believed very deeply in saying, I am going to give to those who have created this for everyone. And so he took care of those associates first, and that profit sharing program has been in place for many, many decades. And we're pretty consistent in being able to do it. Some years are better than others, like any business might have. But I would say very consistently, I've been there 18 years, and we have paid a profit sharing bonus component to the compensation every year. And it can be a pretty meaningful part of someone's annual compensation. We also have a scholarship program for associates and their dependents. And we're very blessed with some very long-standing associates. On the left-hand side is an image from last year's service award dinner, and you can see some of the milestones. To get invited to the dinner, you had to have hit recently a 5-year mark, so you're 15 to get in the door, and then if you're 20 or you're 25, 30, 35, you get invited to the dinner. So there are lots of people who have 42 years that end up being here, 38 years. But it's a pretty extensive list. That's one of the things I was always impressed. And this is probably one of my favorite events of the year, is to be able to celebrate their service with them. The lady that you see on the left, her name is Lynette Coleman, and Lynette was receiving her 45-year service award last year. And she had told us, as we were getting ready for this recognition ceremony, that she had this quilt that she had made. She actually did it during COVID. We had to furlough everybody for a little bit. And she took out all of these t-shirts, these milestone t-shirts that she had collected over the years, and made them into a quilt. So we wanted to share that with everybody at that service award ceremony. So as we approach kind of the end of my time this morning, I wanted to share a story about helping others and impacting communities. And I want to encourage you as leaders to give yourselves permission sometimes to make your decisions more from the heart than the head. That's probably one of the things I've had to learn as I've gotten further along in my career, is look for those opportunities where you may not think about the P&L impact of something, you just do it because you think it's the right thing to do, and that other stuff takes care of itself. So the example that I'm going to share with you is back in 2017, Chris Avery, Paul Zip, who's currently our COO, he was CFO at the time, and myself were in our office in Kerrville discussing the devastating impact of Hurricane Harvey and the impact to Houston and to the Gulf Coast of Texas. Now we offer associates, assistance to our associates. We have a program where if they need help, we will offer them help to the degree that we can. And we also support, relief agencies like Red Cross and Salvation Army. So we have those programs and mechanisms in place. But we were looking for a way to do more. And this hurricane had hit, I'm preaching to the choir here, it impacted you all, I'm sure, but it probably it affected us a little more because of so many people it affected that we knew and that were impacted. And so we were discussing the concept of, what if we were to sell an item and donate 100% of the proceeds of that for a certain amount of time? And so, and I want to stress 100% of the proceeds, not 100% of the profit or a percentage of the sales, not while supplies last, but we made a commitment for a time that we would offer it for 30 days, and we would donate 100% of the sales. This is where we were managing from our heart and not our head. We didn't understand maybe what the impact of that might be. So we had an item in the line, you see it featured here on the right-hand side of the screen. It's called Deep in the Heart of Texas. It was part of our active line. It's a really good seller for us. And because it was the relief efforts will be focused on Texas, we thought Deep in the Heart of Texas, Texas Strong, this would be a great item that would resonate with our customers and was appropriate for this idea. So we looked at our current on hand. How much inventory do we have on hand? Are we going to be in a position to be able to meet the demand that might exist? And the current on hand that we had of that item looked like it represented about 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks of selling at the normal rate. So, yeah, you can guess more to come here. So we got the word out really quickly, very quickly. Like this was really, us discussing this in the morning. I think by the time I went home that afternoon, that evening, we had communicated it on social media that we were doing this. We had sent out an email. We had a banner on our homepage of our website. We had notified our stores. And then it was a bit of a what have we done moment at about 7 p.m. when I have access to Google Analytics, which is how I can look at website traffic and sales on my phone. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but I was looking at the amount of just traffic that was happening, and it was unreal. So within the first 24 hours, we made 3.7 million impressions on Google, social media, email, etc. News stations have picked it up. I mean, it had gone viral. And I think we got 240,000 likes, comments, and shares through social media. So needless to say, we sold out what we thought might last 6 weeks. Could cover us through this entire event. We've sold out by the end of the first day. I think there was a commercial that happened many years ago where like, you see this e-commerce activity going on. Like, oh no, what have we done? What a great problem to have. And for a vertically integrated company that can respond to this type of unusual change in demand, if anybody was well positioned to seize the moment, we were in that position. And we were very fortunate in that our customers were so gracious. I mean, a lot of people might have expected that we're going to deliver this within 3 days, normal shipping time to fulfill an order. And we said, this has exceeded our expectations, and we are going to fulfill our commitment, and we are going to continue to do this, but we just need your patience. And then this engine of being vertically integrated and the flywheel of what we have within our organization, really, I saw the power of vertical integration, because we were able to leverage our agility, change our priorities, and react to them. And we did. And what was probably the most emotionally gratifying aspect of all of it was just to see how everyone within the organization rallied behind, this initiative. Everybody had people they probably knew that were impacted by the storm, and we all were looking for ways to help. Right? We want to do something, and so this really gave people an opportunity to kind of get honest. And so we had thermometers that would measure how fast we were catching up, and it was just this constant focus across the organization. And the orders just kept coming in. It wasn't like we stopped at that day. I mean, the orders kept coming. The virility of this continued to happen. So we were very fortunate, very blessed to be able to sell 46,000 tons. Again, we thought we might sell 6,000, 5,000. And we were able to make a donation of $1 million. Mr. Avery is asked in the latter part of his life, and again, he had no aspirations of what the company would ultimately become when we started it. When asked about the company's level of success, he replied, "It's because of our dedicated people and having a vision and commitment to do something meaningful and worthwhile for others. And you just keep focused on it." Be simple statement. So I'm going to wrap things up. I believe organizations are complex. I think the processes that we use are complex. I think people are complex. And I think we have sometimes a tendency to overcomplicate things. And one of the things I think that I try to do in my role is try to simplify things, look for things, and add simplification to complex situations. And so if I were to try to simply state what I think our approach to leadership is, take care of the people, and the people are going to take care of the business. Pretty simple. And I see that in the foundation that the Avery family laid for us, and what we continue to try to do as a leadership team. So some bonus, I don't know if you can read this back there. Some leadership thoughts. I'm about to turn 57 next week or so, and if I were to give myself advice at 25, it would be different advice than when I thought at 25 I might want to hear. But I thought I'd share some things, and some of these ideas are clearly not original, they're not my own. They're things that I picked up along the way. First, be nice and hire nice people who genuinely care about serving others. Two, the next one, look for opportunities to surprise and delight your customers and your family and associates. The next one, surround yourself with good people, be a resource for them, a sounding board, coach, and advisor, but empower them. They will do amazing things with your support if you allow it. Listen well, remain open to others' ideas, keep emotions in control, be honest and straightforward, yet tactful, treat others with respect and consideration, regardless of their status or position, and really don't matter. Be approachable, friendly, and good-natured, and be sincere, real, not superficial. So by now you might have guessed I love a good quote. I'm going to share one of my favorites. I have this taped to the bottom of my computer screen at the office. It's from Warren Buffett. And it says, surround yourself with people who push you to do better. No drama or negativity. Just higher goals and higher motivation. Good times and positive energy. No jealousy or hate. Simply bringing out the absolute best in each other. I think that's a great reminder for us as leaders. So in closing, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to visit with you and share a little about a company that I love very much. If you're a customer of ours or your family's been a customer of ours, thank you very much. We really appreciate being able to be part of your life. And if you're not a customer of ours, we have over 30 locations in the Houston area. And I'm sure there's one near you. And if you're ever in Kerrville, you have an open invitation. I'd love to give you a tour of what we do. Rob can help manage that communication. And thank you again for the opportunity